A humble maintenance worker, Jack Turner, is humiliated by the young CEO of a tech empire until a buried truth resurfaces. Jack was once the co-founder and genius inventor behind the company itself. As the story unfolds, both Jack and Aurora confront legacy, humility, and redemption, discovering that true success lies not in ownership, but in what you build and who you build it for. Morning light spilled through the glass walls of Apex Tower like liquid gold. The city outside still yawned awake, but inside, ambition had already punched in. Sleek shoes clicked across marble. Suits glimmered. Screens flashed. And through it all, a man in blue coveralls moved quietly, carrying a dented metal toolbox. Jack Turner, 40, had the kind of hands that looked built, not born calloused, scarred, and stained with years of work. He passed unnoticed between executives discussing profits, fixing what they broke, replacing what they ignored. No one knew that long before Apex became a billion-dollar machine, this man had been its pulse. He wiped his hands on a rag, stared briefly at the faded logo on his toolbox, half-scratched letters still read Vontech. Beneath it, faintly carved, property of JD. Once, it meant something. Now, it was just a relic of a dream that had outlived its dreamer. The elevator doors opened. He stepped inside with the quiet composure of a man who carried both grief and grace in equal measure. As he reached the lobby, a voice sliced through the hum. "Why does your toolbox have my company's logo?" Aurora Lane, 31, stood a few steps away, tailored perfection in heels that announced authority. Around her, employees froze, scenting tension. Someone laughed softly, probably stolen. Jack looked at her. Just 1 second, measured, calm, unflinching. "Because I built it," he said. A pause. "Before you bought it." The room went still. Aurora blinked. Laughter died. The silence was sharp enough to cut glass. Jack's gaze lingered for a moment, then he turned, walking toward the elevator as if her accusation had already been forgiven and forgotten. Behind him, her command echoed, "Security. Stop him." The hum returned, louder now, gossip, judgment, fear. Phones came out. The man in blue became a headline waiting to happen. But Jack didn't resist. He simply waited, patient as gravity, as 2 guards took his arms and opened the old box. Inside, tools, nothing more. Yet the story inside that box, his story, was just beginning to rise from the dust. Fade to black. Security escorted Jack to a small side room, glass-walled, sterile. Aurora followed, arms folded tight, a queen guarding her crown. "Where did you get it?" she demanded again. Jack said nothing. His silence wasn't defiance, it was discipline. Years of swallowing injustice had made it an art. Then an older voice broke through the tension. "Aurora, wait." Martin Chin, senior engineer, entered, breathless. His eyes widened. "Jack Turner." Aurora frowned. "You know him?" Martin's voice trembled. "Know him? He built this place." The truth fell like a hammer. Aurora's mask faltered. Jack looked down, as if embarrassed by his own resurrection. Within hours, rumors tore through the building like wildfire. Maintenance worker? Founder? Myth? In his tiny apartment that night, Jack helped his daughter Ella with her school project. Paper volcano, baking soda, vinegar, and laughter, the kind of engineering that healed instead of profited. "Did you fix the printer again, Daddy?" she asked. He smiled faintly. "Something like that." His phone buzzed, an email from Aurora Lane herself. Subject, "We need to talk." Jack deleted it without opening. Some things, he thought, didn't need fixing anymore. But the next morning, the ghosts he'd buried in solder and silence began to whisper again. Aurora was digging into the past, and the truth she would find would change them both. Fade out. Aurora Lane sat alone in her father's old office, surrounded by documents that smelled of dust and betrayal. Patent papers. Partnership contracts. Photos of 3 men standing before a garage prototype, her father, a stranger, and Jack Turner. Her breath hitched. The stranger was him. She found a letter in her father's handwriting. "Jack sees what others can't. If this company survives, it will be because of him. I pray one day I can make this right." Her father had known. For the first time, Aurora felt the ground beneath her privilege tilt. She wasn't just defending a company, she was standing on someone else's stolen foundation. Her reflection in the office glass looked foreign cold, inherited power staring back at her. She whispered, "What have we done?" And for once, there was no one to command. No order to give. Just the quiet guilt of discovery. She printed one address from HR, Jack Turner's. And for the first time in years, Aurora Lane left the tower not as a CEO, but as a daughter seeking redemption. The doors slid open. Jack stood inside, toolbox in hand, startled. Aurora stepped in silent. The doors closed. The hum of dissent filled the air, two lives moving down from power to truth. "I read the files," Aurora said softly. "The designs. The patents. The note." Jack said nothing. His eyes stayed fixed ahead. "My father, he stole from you." Jack's reply was a whisper. "He bought me out." I signed. I was tired. Aurora's voice broke. "You were grieving. That's not consent." Jack turned finally, calm, weary. "Mississippi Lane, what do you want from me? Anger? Forgiveness?" She hesitated. "Partnership." Jack studied her, searching for the arrogance that once burned in her tone. It was gone. What stood before him was something else, humility. He gave a quiet, almost sad smile. "I'll think about it." The elevator reached the ground floor. Sometimes, dissent is the only way to rise again. Next morning, the entire company gathered. Aurora stood on stage, trembling slightly. Behind her, a projection, a photo of three men before an old garage. "This is Jack Turner," she began. "And I owe him everything." The crowd shifted, stunned. "I accused him publicly," she continued. "But the truth is he built this company. While grieving. While raising his daughter. And while the rest of us forgot to look." She turned toward the doors. "Mr. Turner, if you're here." Jack entered, holding Ella's hand. The crowd rose. Applause filled the air like thunder. Aurora's voice softened. "Jack, you once said titles don't pay rent. You were right. But respect does, and you have ours." A curtain fell away, revealing a bronze plaque. Jack Turner, the builder of beginnings. Jack's eyes glistened. Ella whispered, "That's you, Daddy." He knelt, kissed her forehead, and whispered back, "That's us." Aurora poured coffee in her office, hands steady now. Jack stood by the window, watching the city breathe. "You could have sued," she said. "Money can't raise a child," he replied. "How do you let go?" Jack smiled faintly. "I didn't lose what I built. I just stopped owning it." He turned to her. "Buildings stand. Names fade. But work lasts." Aurora's voice softened. "So you'll join me?" "One condition," Jack said. "I leave at 3:30. My daughter has homework." She smiled. "Deal." Later that evening, father and daughter walked out of Apex into golden light. The camera tilted upward to the company sign, now engraved with a new line beneath, built on the foundation of Jack Turner, the builder of beginnings. As the sun dipped below the skyline, Jack's voice lingered. "I used to build machines. Now I build moments. And they're the best things I ever made."